Everyone. So this is my student success model here. And as I was thinking about student success and how I would define and what my model would look like, I of course went back to what we've been doing since the start of the semester. I went back and thought about my desired role. My desired role is to be president of a small community college. And as I was thinking about that, I realized that one of the things that I think is really important for a president is the ability to look through many eyes. So, not just your own opinion, but to be able to see and understand other people, not just your students, but your faculty, your staff, your board, right? To be able to see through the eyes of many. So I started looking at student success through the many roles that I've held. I was a community college student, a non-traditional returning adult student. I was a transfer student. I was a grad student. I am a grad student currently. I also tried to look at things as a faculty member. So how did I see things when I was faculty? And I think back to what my thoughts were on student success as a parent. My nephew is getting ready to go to college, and so I started seeing things through my sister's eyes. What does she think about student success? What does she want for her son? How does she view that? Um, as I mentioned, through as being faculty, how did I view student success, but also how did I view it as chair, as dean, my current role? How does my provost view faculty success? Because of course we talk about that at Provost Council. How do we view student success, and how can we improve on our student success? How does our president currently view student success? Um, in my current role, I'm required to attend the monthly board meetings. So I've had an opportunity to hear and interact with our board members. How do they view student success? Our state legislature has some pretty defined ideas about what they think student success is and what they want us to accomplish. So, how do they view student success? Our accrediting body, how does the HLC view student success? How does the federal government view student success? What about our community, our employers, the people who are looking to hire our students when they come out of college? How do they view student success? So, really tried to look at student success from a broad variety of roles and a lot of different ways. And then I started trying to pick through all of that and find the commonalities and find the common threads. And when I first started thinking about this, in my idea as I was constructing my model, I started thinking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But I pretty quickly realized it didn't quite convey exactly what I was looking for. I am an avid jigsaw puzzle person, and just about most nights I have a little puzzle table that slides under the coffee table, pull it out at night and work on it. And I was putting together my jigsaw puzzle, and kind of the light bulb went off, and I went, okay, this is the perfect thing, right? This is the perfect graphic, the jigsaw puzzle. Because with a jigsaw puzzle, if you are missing pieces or if you have pieces in the wrong spot, you're not going to have a clear and coherent picture in the end. And I realized that that's the perfect metaphor for student success, right? You have to have all of the pieces and they have to be in the right spot to create that picture that you're looking for. So, as a college president, I view every single person on the college, everyone. I don't care what your role is, you have a piece of the puzzle, right? You have a piece of student success. So, when I look at like faculty, right, of course, they have that academic piece, and they would tell you that that is the most important piece. But they're not the only ones, right? In addition to the faculty supporting that academic piece, we have a tutoring center, we have a writing center, we have a men's and women's center, both of which provide quiet places for students to gather and study. We have a library, but all sorts of academic supports in place. And there's a lot of people at the college who have their hands on that puzzle piece. In addition to that academic piece, we have the financial piece, right? So the ability for students to be able to afford to go to college. Of course, first thought is the financial aid office, but it's more than that. We also have a food pantry on campus. Sometimes our students start out, everything's fine, and then suddenly their hours get cut at work or something happens. Car breaks down, all their money has to go to repair the car that month, and suddenly they can't afford food. And we have a food pantry there to help support them through those needs. We also have an on-campus daycare that is pretty heavily subsidized, so it's pretty inexpensive for students. This is a vital piece too. I know when I did my interview with the student for our other project, she had mentioned that she had applied for Lakeland, but suddenly found herself single mother to 4 children, and she couldn't afford childcare. She had no way to do this, so she had to put off going to college for 5 years till her children got older. So there's a lot of people on campus who have a hand on that financial puzzle piece, not just our financial aid folks. Then there's the social piece. There's a lot of research out there to prove that students do better when they're socially supported, right? When they feel a sense of belonging. And again, initially your brain might go to, oh, the social piece. Okay, student clubs, right? Athletics. But it's more than that. If you're a faculty member, you absolutely have your hand on that social piece, right? You are creating that connection with the students. To them, you're a mentor, you're a professional, you might be somebody they aspire to be. You create that connection between yourself and the student. You also help create those social connections between students. So in your classroom, you're working hard to create those social bonds and those social connections. Yes, of course, student clubs, athletics, right? They build on that social piece. But as I said, it's more than that, right? And there are other people at the college, again, who have their hand on that piece. And then finally, growth and exploration. So while academics are important, employers, right, the community, they want our students to grow as human beings, right, to become functioning and productive members of the community. And students, of course, also want to explore, who am I, right? The old going to college to find yourself, right? Who am I? Who do I want to be? And there are many people on campus who have their hands on that puzzle piece too. We have our career services, right? Who can help students figure out, what kind of a job do I want while I'm in college? Do I want to do an internship? Um, what about, jobs in the future? What kind of degree do I need to do this type of job or that type of job? We also have our transfer center, which can help students figure out, well, what do you want to do when you're done with your degree at Lakeland? Do you want to go get a bachelor's degree? Do you want to go to grad school someday? Okay, so they can help them explore that side. And again, many people, right, have their hands. And then, of course, big picture overall, the pillars of support, the mental, physical, and emotional. Without those, our students aren't going to do well, right? So again, if they don't have that mental, physical, and emotional supports, they might not make it through college. And lots of people at the college have their hands on lots of those pieces. The mental piece, our counselors, right? And many of our organizations have resources for students. So for example, the Veterans Center can put students in touch with not just our counseling staff on the college campus, but put them in touch with community resources. Same thing for physical needs. While we don't have dorms and we don't have living spaces for students, if a student comes to us and says, hey, I'm suddenly homeless, or I'm going to be homeless, or I'm struggling to make rent, we have resources and supports we can direct them to. And the same thing with their emotional well-being. So as a president, when I look out at my peers, my colleagues, right, when I look out at my college, I want them to understand that every single person at the college has a role. Every single person at the college touches one or more of these pieces of student success, no matter what your role is. So even if you think, oh, well, I do XYZ and I'm not important and I don't really deal with students, so I have no bearing on student success. Well, no, that's not true, because you might be supporting somebody else, right? Somebody else who's working with students who couldn't do that work without your support. So it's really important to understand that we all fit together, we all work together to make student success happen. And no matter what our role is at the college, we are vital, we are necessary, we are needed. Thank you so much for listening.